Welcome to Finding Monster Right, the show about finding monsters, right?
Right. In some places of Middle-earth, in small taverns with people with weird names, referred to me as Adam.
And we don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the Lash says nay, nay, nay. Remember that from, like, the animated Return of the King? We're doing orcs.
Yes, the Uruk-hai and the orc folk.
The fighting Uruk-hai. That's my wizard voice.
That's a pretty good wizard.
No, that's just Ray Romano.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've digressed immediately.
Ray Romano really is a good wizard name, though. We're off track already. God damn it.
The name of this episode is Mordor's Kitchen, putting meat back on the menu.
Yeah, and can I talk? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a nonsensical title that has a very specific meaning to us. And to your observation.
Yes, yeah. Since I was as young as possible. That's not how a sentence happens. Wait a minute. Okay. Since I was young, I remember watching The Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers movie, and there's a scene in it where some orcs are... There's some orcs that are marching, and one of them says, like, we can't go further, we have to take a breather, and then the general orc, the captain of the team, the coach, is like, start a fire, okay, you all worked hard today, and I support you, and this is a good work environment. And, then, like, they start talking about how we haven't had anything but maggoty bread for 3 stinking days, and then they talk about eating their captives, and then the coach, Ugluk, is like, he's the coach now.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Is just like
he doesn't have any orange slices left over.
No, yeah. It's like they're not for eating, and then there's a disagreement, and he winds up killing one of the guys that wants to eat the captives, who are the protagonists of some of the protagonists. And he says, looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. And then the orc. Now, what that implies is that Ugluk the Uruk-hai knows what a menu is, and therefore has been to a restaurant, which is just the strangest thing to think about. Like, what kind of restaurant would it be, and why is it definitely an Applebee's?
Restaurants in Middle-earth.
Restaurants in Mordor, specifically. Hold on, let me flip those R's more.
Yeah, thank you.
Mordor.
Can you roll the M, too?
Mordor.
Right. That's... I know how this goes.
This is...
I've heard this one before.
That actually might be how you say the word Mordor in an Entish accent.
Right. I did a little homework of my own on orc dietary restrictions.
Ooh.
Or I should say habits, not restrictions. I don't think they would be restricted in any sense. The references that you had specifically to the movie and stuff ties into it very... Because it's it's bread and it's meat. Those are like pretty much all the references point to one of those two things.
Yep. Well, I mean, they have to eat vegetables or fruit at some point, right? Well, actually, I think there is some reference somewhere. I'm not sure if this is in the books or in some kind of extra canonical material, but Mordor's volcanic fields are very fertile.
You mean the fields of Nirn?
The fields of Nirn, yes. I think you're on top of this.
Yes, they a lot of the grain that's been harvested there.
Oh, God damn it!
Yep, it's specifically grain with ash-rich enriched soil.
My favorite vegetable is bread because I'm an 8-year-old boy. Blah.
Means that they make bread, and apparently sometimes they get maggots from that too.
That's just more meat. Oh man. Somebody's got to give them an orange slice, or they're going to get scurvy. Maybe that's why they're like that.
There's no mention of domestic animals or anything like that either. It's all the meat seems to be like earned. You know, like some goblins are said to eat like horses and ponies.
That's kind of tight, actually.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you can only eat meat that's like earned.
That's very chimpanzee-like, actually. I remember writing a paper about this, how chimpanzees, like, put a value on meat. Like, they use it as almost like a social currency.
That makes sense. Now, the big complication on that, which is also shown in that scene, is that some orcs are cannibalistic.
Yep. That's earned meat. I think that's the cultural value.
That's earned meat, but you have to be careful with that one.
Yeah.
That's like when I hear when some farmers they discover it's not uncommon for some hens to turn cannibalistic and start like eating eggs. As soon as that happens, immediately they have to pull that hen aside and
have
give it a stern talking to. Yeah. They have to, tell him that this is a team sport and that, you can't, there's no I in dinner. Except the one that you put in there, and you should stop putting it in there because it's bad to your children.
A lot of animals will eat their own eggs, especially if they know for a fact that they're infertile, or if they're like too old and they haven't hatched or something, because, you spend a lot of energy making that egg and you gotta recoup your loss, and you don't want predators around.
So orcs, as the fantasy race that they are, still take up that habit. But let's talk about. All right, so I'm an orc, right?
Correct.
My culinary skills, I know, are at least like baker level. Established bread, and so there's bakers and there's butchers. I guess are our two things here. If there's a restaurant, that means some of those are a little more entrepreneurial than your average orc.
Well, I think once, spoiler alert, Sauron, the Lidless Eye, the Lord of the Rings, and all that is defeated.
Has his final blink.
Well, he's lidless, so how does that? Whatever. And the orcs kind of scatter, and I have a excerpt bookmarked from Return of the King.
Let's hear some of it. I do amend, though, his first blink.
Oh, yeah, that's true. First blink. Right. As when death smites the swollen, brooding thing that inhabits their crawling hill and holds them all in sway, ants will wander witless and purposeless and then feebly die, so the creatures of Sauron, orc or troll or beast spell-enslaved, ran hither and thither, mindless, and some slew themselves, or cast themselves in pits, or fled wailing back to hide in holes and dark, lightless places far from hope. Me, I was just wondering how I knew what a menu was. What was that? Is that Elvish? Who am I? Who is Ugluk?
You're probably wondering how I got here. Well, it's a long story.
I needed a clue and a drink. One of them I knew where to find.
So that is a loophole that I thought of when toying over this question. Restaurants and bars known for having menus. And orcs certainly drink.
Absolutely. Like, what? Here, ask Ugluk what orcs drink so we can figure it out. I'm in character now.
Okay. Ugluk.
Yeah.
I see you have just laid waste to an elven army.
Fuck yeah, I did. Orcs swear now.
Wow. Cool. I'm hip. Have you what do you like to drink?
Man
when
flesh.
The thirst takes you. Flesh.
Man flesh.
Man flesh. Okay. You like
or woman flesh. That also delights me.
How do you drink it? That
or,
do you like juice it down?
Non-binary people flesh.
Oh.
I do not discriminate. I don't. I think I answered before I understood the full grasp of the question. Most of my thoughts have been thought for me by a giant eye in a tower somewhere. I'm not used to thinking about things. Do the clouds look like things to you? It's so weird. This is all new to me. This is not helping.
No, I don't think we're getting anywhere. Is there a... So...
Well, okay, they make bread, so I guess they can make beer.
That's a perfect point.
Yeah.
As long as there's been grain, there's been people trying to drink it.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to drink solids. We did get somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, can you ferment man flesh?
Oh.
That sounds delicious. I would do that in a heartbeat. Like, I wouldn't eat a person, but I would drink a Moving on.
Yeah, so honestly, we're sort of building a menu here just from what's available to us.
Yeah. You know what? I have a cup of coffee on the side, and I think that I think about places that grow coffee, like Costa Rica and Hawaii, and they're very volcanic places. I bet Mordor has coffee, and coffee was domesticated in the Arabian Peninsula. And Sauron has the Easterlings and the Haradrim.
Yeah, actually, speaking of cafe, I think we've established, we definitely have a cafe worth of ingredients here. So it's like the little bakery section. If coffee is on the menu, then coffee as well.
I stared down into the muddy brown bean water. It tasted good as the hot water from the Easterlings poured down my gullet. But what I really needed to pour down was the truth. I had no answers, only questions. Questions like, I stepped on a bug and felt sad. What the fuck's that about? Huh. Life comes at you fast.
Where has Atrash gone to? What does Sardik know? Olgag, my old friend. Is he behind this?
I wonder if Blorthag ever went back for that girl.
What was her name again?
It was also Blorthag, actually.
Yes, the Blorthags.
That's why they fell in love. I remember now. Man, I guess life does come at you fast.
I would like to discuss a little bit here. The zoom in on the butcher for a moment, because a carver of meats and such, deboning, I could definitely, I could see that kind of that job. However, how good are orc tools at this, or orc weapons? Is it something that they would be great at, or is it like, do they not wouldn't have the dexterity required?
I'm looking at the big kind of machete looking thing on this on that they have with the spike on the end, and I just keep thinking, like, I look at that and I think spit roast or like some shawarma or something going on, like carving off shawarma with that. That's very good. And also, like, even if you get like a little bit of like some like flecks of iron because it's like very kind of like hastily mass produced and wrought, like, you know, this is a thing with military grade stuff. Military grade means it breaks easy, right?
Correct.
And oh boy, are we going to compare the military industrial complex to Mordor? Because I have some thoughts. Never mind. But also, maybe there's some like blood and guts on there still, and if that gets into the shawarma, that's just even better.
Yeah, that is something that was depicted in one of the books. Just like, it's the, blood on my knife, gonna lick that thing off.
Hell yeah. That's hella tight. I'm so down for that. If I murdered people with knives, I would do that all the time.
We're gonna need a whole episode to walk this one back.
One does not simply walk back into Mordor.
But yes, this that is something to be said about the Uruk-hai and the orcs, is that, back to your point, lots of volcanoes, hot environments, they're fans of that area. So furnaces in both the meat cooking and the bread making business.
Mm-hmm.
Big on it. You did say something about spit roasting the shawarma. Spices.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk spices here.
Oh yeah. Well, does Mordor have a coast? Because for my money, the most important spice is salt.
It is very valuable. It's very versatile, and unfortunately, I think the coast is where The good people are.
Aw, damn it.
Mordor is very landlocked.
Wait. There's a what is this big lake in the middle here? The Sea of Nirnen. Next to the fields of Nirn. This is a hard word to say. Next to the fields of Nirn in Mordor.
Okay, so yeah, we talked about the fields earlier in the sea. Let's see how salty it is.
Let's see how salty it is. You know, I feel like
actually
the idea.
I think we're good. Nirnen is glossary in the, of course, the Tolkien Gateway glossary. It's called sad water, but Tolkien also suggests that it means dead water.
Ah.
And of course, as you know, the saltiest body of water on our planet is, or our time of our planet, the Dead Sea.
Yes, that is true. I wonder if the Aral Sea has actually beaten that lately, because you know how like the Aral Sea is just like almost evaporated and dried up. I bet that's super salty now.
Oh yeah, so that's so yeah, I think just with those two, drawing a line between those 2 points, that yeah, perhaps they use the salt from the sea.
Yeah, and
to, season.
There's a great video from Polygon where they make all of the recipes from Breath of the Wild as Link would make them out just like in the woods somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And they can only use a certain set of ingredients. And when they get to the ingredients that explicitly say you can use salt, it's just like markedly everything improves. In fact, salt is so useful that it is the root of the word salary.
Because of how it relates to money and wealth.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely think that salts can be... So...
Salt is actually something that can be so intimate.
I think we're a couple spices short of a spice rack, though. And...
Man flesh? No, Luke, that's not a spice. Horseradish isn't an instrument either.
Yeah, you made a good point earlier about the fields, how we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot that they're only grain. And that in all my research, I've seen nothing about orcish vegetables.
Well, in paleontology, stick with me for a minute.
No, you had me at only.
I think I said well in paleontology. I did not say the word only anywhere in there.
You had me at well.
So, in paleontology, when we don't know what kind of food an animal eats, we will infer... I'm a paleontologist now. We, the scientists of the planet Earth, will determine what it eats based on the kind of teeth that it has, and look for, like, patterns in, like, the wear of the teeth, and all that sort of thing. And I want to talk about one particular feature of orcs that has always that I've always found questionable, and that is, what are the tusks for? Like, evolutionarily speaking.
Yeah, that's a tough question.
Like, what are things that animals use tusks for in real life? They fight with other males with them, and they like boars will use them to dig up like roots and small animals and things, but the orcs have hands and tools
to do most of their dirty work. Yeah,
and the female orcs, which are in Middle Earth but not ever mentioned. There's, I think, historically speaking, in depictions of orcs in fantasy media, there isn't a lot of like sexual dimorphism of like the male's tusks are bigger. I don't think it's a common trope, so it's not a sexual selection thing, which is normally the go-to of, like...
I was gonna say, I could see, like, you know, a me versus you, what do you call it? That competitiveness, or the intimidation factor. A lot of that's kind of that stuff, but if it's not tied in that way, there's a lot of questions about orcs in just personal appearance that I come to mind looking through them. Like, it's like, okay, their hairstyles are a thing.
I remember going back, fighting with Orglog over a girl. We both liked her, and I challenged him to a kiss fight with our tusks, and I guess that was the last time I felt passion. Bean juice. Alright, I'm just gonna intercut some noir jazz underneath all of Ooglooks, just like asides. This is gonna be a really, good...
Yeah, no, it's, I'm all for it.
But hairstyles, you were saying?
Yeah, hairstyles, and also, a lot of, some nose piercings and lip piercings, and...
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of... They're very fashion-forward, so... more points towards the kind of... And the paints, like the face paints and stuff like that.
Oh, I love
so more
the face
points
paint.
towards trendy cafe.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Almost, I think orcs are the high fantasy version of cyberpunk. They're decked out with, piercings and crazy hair and paint and tattoos and stuff. And they have technology ahead of everybody else.
I could see if you fast forward them in time, they'd have these underground underground bistros and neon everywhere, and handprints and that kind of finger paints and stuff like that shine under ultraviolet lights and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do a little lidless eye for the Uruk-hai here. I think we could actually get the Uruk-hai to look kind of presentable. When you're seeing them in the movies, you're seeing them after, they've been marching for 3 days with captives over the Rittermark. They have not showered. They have not done a single thing to their hair. They've only eaten maggots, and they're, sweaty and gross. And even before that, when they're fighting, they're just in a forge somewhere. What I'm saying is, I think an Uruk-hai with a shower might be a viable target for Squatchelorette.
I was actually thinking our other game.
Oh?
That I was thinking Long Stalks on the Beach.
Okay. These are very similar segments. It's actually kind of weird that we have 2 segments about dating monsters, but okay.
But let's start with the Squatchelorette. So, okay, prettying up the Uruk-hai.
Yeah.
Basically, we're talking about a spa day is needed here. A much delayed spa day.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great date, is a spa day.
Yeah, just kind of, getting your hair done.
Kind of weird for a first date, now that I'm thinking about it, right?
Yeah, not so great.
But still, okay, if we're making over an Uruk-hai, where do we start?
Yeah, forget the long stalks on the beach. Let's talk Squatchelorette.
Okay.
We're trying to matchmake this monster. We're making this monster as presentable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's why I'm saying start with if we started at a spa, if we began this in your full makeover fashion, first thing first is deep clean.
Yes. Okay.
That old war paint's gotta go, and you might need some industrial materials to because it's that. Then there's burnt flesh beneath it.
I'm picturing just a bevel, just really getting in there with some sandpaper on a little spinny bit.
Yeah, just some real. I would definitely recommend a moisturizing routine.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, from what I've seen, dental health is actually pretty good.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you got of pearly whites.
Yeah.
Already, so maybe we could work with that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe some braces, though.
Braces are it's a long-term solution.
Well, hang on. Actually, if Middle Earth is Britain, maybe we don't have to worry about that part so much.
You think they already match?
Yeah, I think they are already fine.
Yeah. So, but yeah, okay. Clean them up. Nice little get the barber in here. I think some kind of I think bangs might do the orc pretty well.
Huh.
Is that a yes, or is that a...
I gotta say, it depends on the orc.
Okay.
Okay, if it's one of those little goblin dudes, then yes. A little
yeah.
A little kind of a very Beatlemania look, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, that'd be really for some. Why does that image work so on my head?
It really does. Wait.
Like a little Liverpool goblin?
Oh my god.
Like what?
Picture 4 of them just as the Beatles.
Yeah, little bowl cuts, and that's a good look.
Except instead of like John, Paul, George, and Ringo, it's like Jorblog, Mortar, Zimbo,
And Ringo.
And Ringo, yes.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. So,
Well, we were in the hordes of Sauron, and we just decided that it wasn't groovy for us. This is my impression of the Beatles. It's not good.
I think it's real easy to clean up an Uruk-hai.
Oh, yeah, they're already, like, half people, kind of, I guess.
Right, so... and you can get some really smart with the war paints. Instead of the haphazardness of it, to make it a little more symmetrical.
Yeah, I'm down for this. This is good. In fact, tattoo it. Like, Uruk-hai... I've never seen Uruk-hai with tattoos, but I think they'd be down.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think the lower effort stakes of it's probably in pro for them.
Yeah. And then there's the hair.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, I'm thinking about Uruk in the films, and his hair is just, like, very long and gray and stringy. And again, he hasn't been doing anything to it. Like, we don't know if he has, like, a cave back in Mordor where he has, like,
actual conditioner.
I can finally get back to my jail regimen. Like,
right.
But I think maybe the play there is just, like, very short crew cut. Oh, no. Like an undercut.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I could even see that working with like some of the more helmets and other accessories that they often have.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, just clean them up. It's not hard. Anyone can do it.
No, it absolutely could. And I do want to go down on... Whoa. Okay. I do want to... well, let's see how well this makeover goes. I do want to run down the outfit situation.
It's about time that we got there. So,
yeah.
Last thing about the head, piercings are definitely... you can be real... As long as they maintain the kind of minimalist approach, I think they'll work out just fine.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing is we gotta do it right. Because, like, they could get pretty gnarly with those piercings, probably. Like, they'll just jam, like, a shard of iron ore into their face. It's piercing! Like, no.
Just, like, bones through the forehead.
Yeah, like, it gets all gangrenous and gross, and it's like, no, come on.
Yeah, as long as they are a little more professional with their piercings. I think they'll work out fine. So, okay, let's talk about the outfit.
Yeah. Okay.
Lots of blacks.
Lots of blacks.
Lots of blacks and browns and studs.
You know, I'm thinking about it. I think they might be a little bit more of an autumn than what their current look kind of suggests they're going for.
They're currently a little more of a winter, right?
I believe so, yeah. And
I found a pretty babe in orc. I gotta share with you.
Okay.
And the background tells me that this is from like some kind of see, I was definitely prettied up during a like a Ren fair or something like that. But check out this guy, and he gives me
oh hell yeah,
yeah. It's pretty ordinary.
He's got some Geralt of Rivia vibes going on, actually, a little bit.
Oh yeah, sure.
Hey, can you link that so our audience knows what you're talking about?
I will post the photo with the episode.
Okay.
And but the studs and black leather really makes me think like kind of like a goth look almost.
Yeah, I gotta say, also, like, this is not a sexualized costume we're talking about here.
No, this is a very...
this is just an attractive man who is wearing an orc costume and like pulling it off.
Yeah, his face is a little less burnt and melty.
Yeah. It's a very good mix, and it doesn't look. It looks like passably like an orc, also.
Mm-hmm.
Like an Uruk. Yeah, I think Uruk is the black speech word for orc, and hai is the word for man, and it's supposed to be like a goblin man thing. I used to know the whole ring poem and everything. I can't remember it now. Ashnas Gimbatul. Ashnas, give me a break a piece of that Kit Kat bar. I don't know.
So from this orc that we're looking at here, I'm imagining a little more cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
Does this?
He has some scars on his face
monster...
that don't necessarily have to be there, I guess.
Yeah. Does this monster get a rose?
Well, we decided with Slender Man that we're gonna wait on if the on the rose for the very end once we have like a repertoire of monsters to pick from. But I think I have high hopes, especially if we didn't really talk a lot about the outfit. You said goth, and that's a take, that's a play. I think that's good. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking more of like a very just like very kind of like outdoorsy chic, almost like a hipster thing. Like like
I can see that.
Flannels with like sleeves rolled up.
Well, it's like a flannel, but instead of just elbow patches, their patches are just everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, honestly, you add a collar to this current outfit, and that's a good-looking orc.
Yeah, no, 100%.
All right. So yeah, I definitely think that this guy will go in the running for future in our future brackets. I think we need to get back to this restaurant business here. I feel like we're like one more meal / ingredients away.
The sleeves on my rolled up flannel that I was wearing were looking very attractive, but also I felt like I was missing something. Just like how I was missing the fact that my wrists were cold. Everything felt cold in Mordor now, because the volcano stopped doing its volcano thing. And I needed something.
Hey, are you gonna order anything?
No, I'm monologuing into a coffee cup. I don't know what to tell you, friend.
Well, I mean, if you haven't picked something off the menu, you can leave. Or you'll be on the menu.
Wait a minute, what? What did you just say? And that's when it hit me. It hit me like a ton of Lembus. I was the menu.
It hit me like a siege engine.
It hit me like a
catapult stone.
It hit me like an unfortunately placed Oliphant shit. That's gross. But also terrifying to consider.
Hit me like it is just a whole Oliphant, man. Those things are big. They can hit you.
You really gotta think, like, there were some unfortunate accidents in that thing before. It was like, okay, new rule, everyone. Everyone stays at least 30 feet behind the Oliphant at all times. I know it's funny, but, like, also a lot of people died.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they grew the tusks out of respect for the Oliphant.
Fighting an Oliphant with your teeth is...
no respect, like...
Incredible.
They ate the Uruk-hai that did not have tusks because they did not respect the Oliphant.
Well, okay, you can't just grow tusks because you want to impress a strange elephant.
No, I'm saying
I've tried.
I'm saying it's Darwinism. It's they culled the herd of ones that did not have tusks.
Well, the elephants are from Farharad, I think.
Ah.
And they're a military alliance that has happened recently, so I don't think that's happening on like an evolutionary timescale.
Does Farharad have a little have any bit of a Middle Eastern bit to it? I
believe it does. Yeah, I believe there's some kind of a connection there.
Huh. Well, if you ask me, if Oliphants are coming from this a region like that, I'm certain that spices flow in their wake.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's a good... I mean, it's a fair comparison.
If we're talking about literal animal exports, certainly other easier to come by commodities and valuable ones would be exchanged.
Mm-hmm. But then what would the orcs trade them in return? They would just take them. They would just murder them with knives. That's what the orcs would do.
Yep.
Well, but also, without Sauron, there's no... sorry, let me flip those R's. Without Sauron at the helm, there's not really anyone running the ship, so...
Helm? deep. Sorry.
Helm's deep.
Okay, I think you can roll every letter. I know.
What if I just like got on the ground and started rolling around? Like, just talking completely normally? Does that count? Like, can I just save time by doing that?
That's how I've been recording the whole show. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this.
Does this please you, Jokin, Rolkin, Token? Huh? Conlangs.
Yeah.
But,
God,
what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Maybe, like, some loose orcs could, like, take, like, could attack, like, a spice caravan. Maybe Gondor, would start trading with Harad after the war.
Yeah, it's possible. I think if they have the kind of, whatever we... It's almost like, seafood restaurants and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of have the catch of the day policy. Some of the more, I guess, authentic, regular, like, actual seaside restaurants like that, right?
Yeah.
So I could totally imagine an orc restaurant having the same kind of policy, but with the meat of the day.
That's true, but also meat has to be... I guess meat doesn't have to be earned, because, like, he kills that one guy who's, like, trying to defy his orders, and then, like, a bunch of people just swarm in on him. But he has to invite them first.
Yeah. Again, we're reverse engineering from the fact that there are restaurants.
Yeah. But,
yeah.
So, do they have currency? They don't have do they have a central government that that enforces that currency? Do they just barter for food?
It's a valuable question. I think that before we get into currency exactly, you can have a menu without having prices.
What is the value of a Sauron buck? 1/100th of a cent.
Yeah, but there are. I could not tell you about orc culture and whether there's a true currency or anything like that.
It just seems very, very... I don't think that it's thought out at all. Well, this is something that George Rarton Martin said about Tolkien, where it's like, Aragorn ruled for 1,000,000 years, and he ruled wisely and well. And it's like, well, what does that mean?
So, actually, I have found something that made me think of this a little bit. And it's about orcs as a dark reflection of some of the other races. So I would like to take that and say that, in a way, perhaps some of the traditions and practices of the orcs are twisted and not fully mirrored versions
of the elves.
Imitations, like so perhaps an orcish restaurant like doesn't have the whole current idea of currency and stuff like that, but it does capture the, all right, there's A, B, or C. What do you want?
That just sounds like a post-currency society, and that sounds really good.
Yeah, it sounds like they've got it all sorted out. Orcs they know what they're all about.
Orcs get it.
Yeah, well, so I think we can kind of wrap up what this design philosophy is. We've got all the pieces here. So if it was more modern, it would certainly be this kind of underground cool kid place. Mm-hmm. Lots of neon colors and dark atmosphere.
Applebee's so far.
Yeah, honestly, I am getting some TGI Fridays vibes.
They just have like a bunch of their enemies' heads on the wall.
I don't know about you, but every time I've gone to TGI Fridays, it's been like dark and poorly lit.
You know what? I think that's right.
So it's like that, and yeah, a bunch of heads on the walls. I'm all for it. Weapons and other bloodstained things hanging up.
Oh, that's great if a bar fight breaks out, because you can just grab something from the walls.
Yeah, it's very handy. Also, something that happened to be at TGI Fridays, which now that this is really apt. I've had steak served on like sizzling plates. And honestly, if there was any presentation whatsoever from meat served at an orc restaurant, I would expect that. Just out of the oven. They you would probably get bread as if not your main course, then part of your an appetizer.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, like, there's always bread for the table. That's a thing.
Bread for the table. It makes perfect sense. They got salt. They got imported spices. And it's kind of catch of the day style. Whatever meats that they have on hand.
Yeah. No. That's
a... your options between those meats is what we call a menu.
And, I guess they don't really have a lot of use for fruits or vegetables because they just don't need them to live.
Honestly, with their... I saw some speculation about their dietary stuff, about how they might be able... A-okay, like a vulture, A-okay eating rotten flesh.
Well...
Or something of that tune. So I could see almost... We're not fully carnivore, but we're pretty dang paleo, aren't we?
It also kind of reminds me of the Inuit, how they have a very, I don't know if they're exactly this, but I think they're the most carnivorous people on Earth, because just it's so difficult to get to either gather or farm plant material there. They must have some, but it's not as much as other people. So I think it might just be kind of like an extension of that into like the vulture territory, like what you were saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they did not mention vegetables whatsoever. So they must not be in their diets.
Yeah. I mean, with the tusks thing, that make me think about pigs. I mean, that kind of makes me think that like, Ooglik, what are you doing? I'm digging for tubers. But I wasn't digging for tubers. I was digging for the truth. Something in me, or something outside of me, had told me what a menu was. And I intended to dig greedily and deep until I found a demon who would tell me what the fuck was going on. Maybe I'm still digging. Who knows? Who knows? Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Hopefully it'll keep digging and take us to our final rating place. We rate this monster on some kind of arbitrary, crazy scale.
Yeah.
How do you rate the Uruk-hai out of 10? Or out of what? Let me put it this way. Out of 10, I would give the Uruk-hai 7 out of 10 myself.
I'm gonna get
7 is a good number of options on a menu.
Oh yeah. Okay. I think that's fair. I'm gonna give the Uruk-hai. I am going to give the Uruk-hai 8 out of 10, because they would give themselves a 4 out of 10 for losing the war against the free peoples of Middle-earth. And I think I can double that score and give them a much-needed pick-me-up.
It sounds much needed.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us for another episode of Finding Monster Rights.
If you liked this episode, good. I liked it too. All right,
yeah,
that's
me
it.
as well.
All right.
We had a good time, everyone.
I thought I was going to transition into the plugs there, but I decided not to.
No, you found this podcast before. You'll find it again.
Yeah.
Next time, when we talk about a creature from across the stars.
You want a place where peasants don't say, look out, it's the Uruk-hai. You want a place where everyone says Uruk-hai. Da 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 da.